Welcome to I Do This for a Living, a show that asks how we can spend as much time and energy on the things that matter as we do on the things that pay. Ooh, you're going to love this episode. It is so good, especially if you like to hear about someone who loves their work. And there's a little retraction in the middle because I said a lot of things about work last episode, in the intro of the last episode, as general statements that we all feel about work. It's not true for everyone. A lot of the things I have felt about work over the years is not true for everybody. And so you're going to hear that retraction. And also a reminder of a quote that Simone Stolzoff said in the episode with him. He heard this from a poet. He went to talk to a poet he admired, and he asked, basically, is it true that you should find what you love to do and that should be your work, and then you'll never work a day in your life? And he was expecting the poet to say, absolutely, don't settle for less, do what you love. And what the poet said is, some people do what they love for work. Some people do what they have to do so that they can do what they love outside of work, and neither is more noble. And I have to remind myself of that, and I'm reminding myself of that a lot right now. And it's key to today's episode. You're going to hear from someone who definitely loves what they do, and it's delightful. It is a delightful conversation. Also, if you have ever wondered if you might be neurodivergent in some way, you're going to enjoy this conversation. It could give you some ideas. She's lovely. Her name is Kristin. Let's get to it. Hi, Kristin. Welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I love you for saying that because the pleasure is fully mine. I can't do this show without guests and with great stories, which you have. I cannot wait to talk to you. And this is what I want to start with. Let's get to know you.
All right.
Kristin Flannigan.
Yes.
Is the name. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start here. Where can we find you? I mean, you don't have to be specific about this, but where can we find you on a map?
I am currently living in Central Valley, California. So I'm just south of Fresno. If I give you the city, most people won't be able to find it.
If we gave you your city, we couldn't find you, but south of Fresno. So, and that's central. See, I think of it as north.
Yeah, it's basically Central California.
Okay. How long have you been there?
It's been 12 years as of last week.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
And before that?
Before that, I was in Missouri in a teeny tiny town called Kirksville, which is where we knew each other from.
It sounds familiar, right?
Maybe we've been there. I don't know.
And then, but where did you grow up? I don't even think I know that.
I grew up in the St. Louis area, a little suburb called St. Peters.
St. Louis area. So you are probably a Truman State University recruit.
Indeed.
Is that how you got to Kirksville?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Truman State University gets a lot of you St. Louisers. The famous Jenna Fisher, who played Pam on The Office, was from the St. Louis area as well. Did you know her growing up?
No, I really wish I had. She seems like such a cool gal.
I know. I think that you would get along. I really do. From what I know of her from Instagram.
Like we know her.
I don't actually watch The Office because it gives me trauma because I don't have great feelings about office culture. Which is a shame because I know it's a very funny show, but yeah.
It is. But I honestly, I feel the same way. Like there's things that happen. I'm just like, I have to skip this part. I'm getting
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to enjoy this conversation. Okay. How about this? What is something you would say you're known for? Like the people who know you are like, oh, that's so Kristin.
Oh, I think the biggest one would be my smile. Like being goofy and fun. Yay. And my hugs. I get really good hugs. Like soul healing. I'm pretty sure it's a ministry from the Lord kind of hugs.
Oh my gosh. That's a great thing to be known. Is it like 6 seconds or more?
Girl, no, we need at least 20. If you can stand, if the person I'm hugging, because I'll hug a complete stranger. If they can handle it, I'm shooting for as close to 20 seconds as we can get, because that's all the good stuff that's flowing at that point.
Oh my gosh. I love you so much. Okay. Do you get a lot of this though? Do you have to just fight
from people who are not like touchy-feely, who are like physical touch adverse, or, like I said, a complete stranger? They might start to pull back, but I'll hold just a tiny bit of pressure to see, like, will you still kind of melt into this hug? Because you kind of need this.
Totally.
So the number of times that I've hugged people and, they've just burst into tears, I'm just like, yeah, that's normal.
It's scientific, Kristin. They say, my middle son and I, we have this thing because I read like 6 seconds is the minimum. Like that's when it starts to get, it's a good real hug that helps you. And so sometimes he'll literally count. It's so funny.
Like, no, we're only at 4. Come on. Hold on.
Yeah. So, but I don't think you need told this, but that initial pull away, it's just natural. It's what people do, but it doesn't mean they don't want it. It's just, we're built socially awkward to not.
And I think it's because people are, in their minds, they're like, well, I don't want you to feel weird because I'm staying in the hugs. I'm going to initiate the pullback. And I'm like, pull back and pull out of the arms. Okay, you were totally done. That's fine. Stay in the arms. Like, I'll hold you for a good 30 minutes if you need it. Like, that's fine.
Have I experienced a Kristin Flannigan hug?
I don't think you've actually gotten a full-on Kristin Flannigan hug.
That's not okay. That's not okay. And now we're like
developing in the Kirksville days.
I have a story in my. Oh, sorry. Go. What?
I was going to say you just have to come out to visit for the coast, and we'll take care of that.
You would not have 2 pull teeth to get me to come to California. That's for sure. But I've never done it. So I have a story like this in my book about touch in general, that it's truly healing. It really is.
It is.
So I love it. I love that. I love that about you.
Me too. I love hugs.
Okay. So how would you answer this question? What do you like to do?
I like a lot of different things. Probably my favorite thing is just to hang out with friends. Like quality out of the Gary Chapman 5 love languages, quality time is like right underneath physical touch. So if my bestie calls me up, she's like, Kristin, do you wanna? I'm like, I don't care what comes after that. The answer is yes. Like if it's in my power to say yes, if I don't have any plans, like if it's not illegal, like let's go do it. The other day she called me up and she wanted to do something, but she needed like an extra support of hands. And and that's what she did. She's like, Kristin, can you? I'm like, yes, I'm free. Let's go. When are we leaving? She's, well, I got to do this and then this. I'll text you when we're ready. I'm like, done. I'll be ready in 5. So yeah, my friends.
That's beautiful. That hasn't even changed with age. Dave Bargatze has such a funny little spiel about how it changes with age, but not you. You're like, let's go.
No. Oh, absolutely. Always. Part of that, and I'm learning because I just got an ADHD diagnosis this week, which has been mind-blowing. That spontaneous, and definitely got combined type, so I'm impulsive. So like, you want to do something? Like, yes, let's make it happen. You want to eat that? Like, okay, let's do that, right? And it's like, okay, well, now there's like a clinical definition of why that's yes for me.
Do I go here now or do we come back to it? Let's just go here. Adult ADHD, or like they're saying, you've always had this, honey, and now we're giving you the words.
Well, that's the thing. ADHD is a neurodevelopmental diagnosis, so you have to have had it since birth. Like you were born with it. And what they are finding, as they have recently, like, I watched a video not too long ago on social media, and they gave like the history of ADHD, particularly with girls, right? How at first it was a diagnosis just for boys, and then they expanded it for girls, but then they found out that girls present differently than the boys with ADHD. And it wasn't until, I don't even know, like maybe 7 years ago, if that they added that it could be, for adults, like you will see it in adults and it can be diagnosed in adults. So they weren't even looking for it in adults for all of this time, right? So hashtag my entire life. And then because girls were like hecka good at masking it. Like I got a mask for days that tells you I'm perfectly fine, but I'm like melting inside, which is really funny because Jodie Bost, one day I remember I was at the copier getting ready for Kingdom Kids. and for like the children's church. I was making copies and she walked through the door. She's like, "How you doing, Kristin?" And then I gave me the mask answer. I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm great." Even though like I was falling apart at the seams at that point. And she stopped. She backed up because she was going to keep going. She backed up. She goes, "No, you're not." She's like, "What? Take the mask off. Like, what? Let's be real." And I just remember having my mind blown in that moment. Because someone recognized it. It was the first time I recognized that I had masks that I would put up. So yeah, as girls, like we're really good. And then you get the high performance, high intelligence, gifted women, and they're incredible. Well, then short story, it comes perimenopause, menopause, and all the hormonal changes and everything falls apart. So yeah, my perimenopause unmasked my ADHD. And so that's
happy, joy. Perimenopause. It can last like 10 years, they say.
Years. I'm pretty sure it started around 40. So
I have so many questions about this because, okay, so what did the diagnosis do for you? What did it allow you to understand about yourself or even tweak?
Yeah. Well, mind you, I'm only a week fresh.
Oh gosh.
Still processing.
Yeah.
But like the first 24 to 48 hours was a roller coaster ride. Because initially, like it was a grief, processing the grief of like, I went this long thinking I was dumb, thinking there was something wrong with me, thinking I was broken. And now there's an explanation for why all of those struggles were struggles. So there was that grief process and kind of going through that. But the other like big feeling was relief of I'm not crazy. I'm not broken. There is a reason why I'm struggling to get off the couch to go do dishes. Right. So I'm not lazy. So there's all of this. It's like freedom. I'm being liberated from this lie that I've lived for 45 years.
So can you give us a couple symptoms? What is it that, that's ADHD. That's ADHD.
Yeah. ADHD is an executive dysfunction disorder. So that involves prefrontal cortex. It involves being able to time manage. It involves being able to motivate, initiate, inhibit behaviors, right? All of those things are executive function. And so symptoms can look like with an inattentive type, which is also part of the diagnosis because I have combined, where, I'm doing something, it's boring. My mind it can't generate the motivation to stay focused on something that's not interesting. So I'm off to daydreaming, I'm off to planning, I'm off to doing 6 different things. Hyperactivity, but in women, that often looks like mental hyperactivity. So the mind is racing all the time. Like I was shocked to learn that people actually have moments where there's like no narrator going on in their brain. There's nothing happening in there. It's just quiet. I was like, that does not compute. With ADHD, there's a difficulty with dopamine uptake. Norepinephrine, that one's a new one I'm learning, uptake. And so like we have a task. We want to do the task. Like my laundry, I just finished folding the last towel that I washed last Sunday. And not because I stuck it in a place to try and annoy me. I have a friend who's going to come visit. Hello, Nova. It's not that like the laundry basket sitting there with the towels has annoyed me all week, but combined with the fact that it's my first full week back to work, I was like, Kristin has some zero energy, so that is 100% not happening. But like, I want to fold the towels. But it's one of those mundane things that is just like, if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. So I'm not highly motivated to do it. So the dopamine is just not there to be like, let's go take care of it. And the perimenopause really has kind of, because dopamine levels shift with estrogen. If estrogen is down, dopamine is down. And so I have less and less in my tank to be able to draw on to take care of those things. I'm like, I got work deadlines I got to take care of. And those to me are more important than doing the laundry. So like all of these different things kind of suffer.
Is it a condition that you just have to learn the tools?
Yeah.
Or is there medicine?
There is medicine, which I'm very excited to get together with my doctor. I just started hormone replacement therapy So I'm hoping that will help kind of balance things out, give me some of my motivation and energy. I have zero energy these days. And I think that's the perimenopausal side. But yeah, there's medication that I'm definitely going to look into. Like if there's any way to ease the chaos that occurs in my brain, like, yes, let's do that.
So the towels.
Yeah.
Do you have to fold them? I guess you said it was annoying you.
Yes.
It was annoying you, but you couldn't make yourself do it.
No.
Does pairing work? Pairing, like, okay, I'll fold the towels when I watch my favorite junky reality TV.
Sometimes, yeah, that's definitely a strategy. My new favorite strategy right now is body doubling. Like I've discovered this because I also started therapy a couple weeks before I started the hormone therapy because I'm like, I need all the tools. I need all the help. Right. And I realized that my internal motivation is absolutely zero. If I have and this is the moment that I discovered the body doubling would be really helpful, is that if when I have a roommate, I am on the chores because I do not want to be a burden or, an upset to somebody else's life. And so I will do the thing, I will find the motivation to get it done so that they're not inconvenienced. But I don't live with anybody right now. So it's very difficult. Like the dishes, that's a whole other set of problems. But I find that if I have somebody right now, I just have to have them on the phone. There was one day I texted somebody. I was like, will you body double with me so that I can get my dishes done? And the person responded, absolutely. And that was literally all I needed to get my butt off the couch and start the dishes.
Wow.
It was amazing. So yeah.
So body doubling is pretending there's another body or getting another body?
Both. It's okay. Like our brain is weird enough that if you think that there's somebody else involved in this process, it's more motivating. And that could be I've heard different anecdotal things from social media where they'll come have their husband just sit with them while they fold laundry. They don't want them to help. Don't help me clean the bathroom. Just be with me while I clean the bathroom. That's all you need. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So there's that one. But yeah, pairing. My other favorite one that I've been trying out recently is I just have to do one. And giving yourself that relief from the whole process of you just have to do this small piece. Once you get started, usually that's all enough, that it's enough motivation to keep you going. The momentum is there. It hasn't been with the towels this week, but that's been because I was tired. But dishes, it works like a charm. Okay, Kristin,
just do one dish?
Do 3 dishes. That's it. 3 dishes because we're running out of dishes because I limited the number of dishes I have because it was getting out of hand. That was an idea from a friend. And then all of a sudden, most of the dishes or all of the dishes are done. So yeah, it's compensatory strategies out the wazoo. Yeah.
Do you have a dishwasher? No, darn it. I love pushing go on the dishwasher, and I always sing Beyonce. Who run this mother, girls? Who run this mother? It's pretty motivating.
I love it. She is. That's the other thing is if I can get some really good poppin' music, I need something upbeat while I'm doing any chore. There has to be music. I mean, honestly, there has to be some type of noise going at all times because otherwise the noise in my head gets to be too loud. So that's another ADHD thing.
Yeah. So I'm hearing about ADHD so much. Have you heard of the Holderness family?
Yes. I just learned that she was diagnosed with ADHD. I was like, yes.
It's been a whole thing that he has it. That's the whole thing. Their whole spiel practically. Not really, but now all of a sudden she's been diagnosed as well. Have you considered reading his book? ADHD is awesome.
I was just looking Thursday or Friday. I was like, all right, it's time to bring in the books and get some more information. And I came across his book and I was like, yes, I 100% want to read that.
I do too.
Is that I've heard a lot about ADHD over the last year. But in January, I volunteered for this academic decathlon thing for the county. And I got paired with 2 other gals who were lovely to judge the interview portion for the academic decathlon, right? And the one gal, her name was Morgan. And I just absolutely loved her because she was vibrant, gregarious, energetic, unapologetic. I'm like, this is just me. And she had fun glasses, right? And so we really hit it off. Well, she was telling me about her late diagnosis for ADHD. And she's like, the psychologist who diagnosed me, it said that, high functioning, high intelligence women are often the ones that are, they're diagnosing because we're really good at masking. And I thought, okay, that really tracks. And at that point, she had told me all of this other stuff. I'm like, yep. So, it's just like meeting all of these different people. And as soon as you start talking about things, the social media algorithms are picking it up and sending it to you, right? So
who diagnosed it? Just a family practice?
I brought it up with my primary care physician, who she's amazing. Anything I bring up, she's like, okay, I don't know anything about it, but let's look into it. Or if you're feeling that way, we're going to look into it. And so I told her, I was like, I literally feel crazy these days, and this is what I think it is. And so this is the referral I would like. So I asked for a psychologist referral because I knew that the psychologist can diagnose, right? And she's like, well, I have a neuropsych that I like to refer to. I'm going to send you to them. I'm like, perfect. Neuropsych is even better, right? It has to do with the brain. That's really where they focus. And I filled out a 24-page case history questionnaire.
Oh.
I did an
hour in the waiting room?
No, they sent that beforehand. And then they scheduled a virtual 1-hour kind of consult where she went over all of that information, asked me additional questions, and I could share additional information. And then I went in person for like the standardized assessments, and they told me like prepare for like 3 to 4 hours of being there. And I thought, yeah, I mean, I'm a speech therapist, so I've given 3 to 4 hour banks of testing before, and like that, yeah, we can do that. And went in, and the very first test that we did, the perimenopause rage was creeping up there. Because it was a test where it was like saying numbers 1 and 2, or showing the numbers 1 and 2. And I had to click on one, whether it was verbal or visual, whichever one. And it was saying like 1. I thought to myself at one point during the testing, I'm like, if it says 1 again, I'm going to punch the screen.
Oh, rage.
It was like rage. Thankfully, it didn't say 1, so I was like, whoo. And then I had to do an intelligence test, which was mind numbing. I had to do this other kind of, it's like distraction test where, and I don't know if you've seen this one. I think a lot of psychology related people will know this, where they give you the words, but they're color words. So the word is blue, black, green, red, but they're printed in a different color. So blue will be red, green will be black. It's different colors, and you have to say the color that's printed in, not the color word.
Oh my gosh.
You have to tell your brain, stop paying attention to the word, say the color you see. And I did that. I did another one of those, and then I had to connect the dots thing. And by that point, I was just like, you know what? I don't care. Here's your pencil. I don't care. And so when she was giving me the feedback on the test, she talked about the dot connecting thing. She's like, yeah, you did this. And it didn't seem like you really started with a plan. You just went and then you paused and came up with a plan. I'm like, yeah, she goes, that's the impulsivity piece. I'm like, I can see that now. I never would have said that to myself. But yeah, okay, I get it.
I asked that. I love your answers because I asked that question because I think someone listening is going to be, wait a minute, this is something I should look into. And so I wanted to know want them to know what it would take to look into it. But so that sounds absolutely awful, frankly. But you feel that the diagnosis is a relief.
Yes.
And is going to help you move forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so excited. For the week between the in-person testing and the results, I had mentally talked myself into, I don't have ADHD. It's not ADHD. It's just the perimenopause, and we're gonna have to figure things out. And so to get the confirmation of no, actually, yeah, from a neuropsychologist, which made me feel like, okay, she's looked at all the different pieces, because there was another 344 statement questionnaire thing that I had to complete. And so she was looking at OCD, she was looking at depression, anxiety, they're looking at the whole picture and saying, okay, are there other things that could explain this? And this, no, this, maybe, this, no, this, maybe, this, no. So ultimately, the diagnosis is ADHD. It's like, okay, I feel confident in that. That's right. Because I know, like already I've had people like, I don't see it. Like, yeah, I know. Because the struggle's all up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're good at the mask.
Yes.
So you debunked something for me that I appreciate. Because I tend, since I was little, I hear a thing and I'm like, I probably have that, or I'm going to get that or something. And it reminds me when my family and I were together in a therapy session once, my parents and siblings, and they were talking about codependency. And my mom and sisters and I are looking at each other like, what? Isn't that just normal? Isn't that just family? Like that? Codependent equals family. And this ADHD, when people start talking about ADHD, I do tend to be like, wait, isn't that all of us? But what you've debunked is there's kind of, I feel like I just said the other day, I think our current environment with all the social media and information coming at us so fast has given us all ADHD. And you're saying not true. That can't have happened because it's
neurodevelopment.
Yeah.
Now, I completely agree with you, because when you look at the amount of technology and information that we have, I think it gives like whispers of or feelings of. And the difference in like an ADHD diagnosis and exhibiting characteristics like, right? Because the field that I'm in, I'm like, there's autism and there's autistic-like characteristics. As we all do at some level experience the different difficulties that people have. It's just how much does it affect your day-to-day life?
Okay.
And what they're finding with ADHD, particularly with women who are getting late diagnosed, is we're reaching this point of burnout. Like, we have been spinning our wheels for so long to keep this persona of trying to meet the standard that we were never going to be able to meet, because neurodevelopmentally, like neurocognitively, my brain is not built like the average person's. And so it's like we fall apart. So if you're not falling apart because of the different things that you experience because of social media and information overload, then it's probably not ADHD, but it's similar.
Yeah. Oh, that's so helpful. If you're willing to share, and it's okay if you're not, what does falling apart look like? Just not wanting to get up, not wanting to go do?
Yeah, there's that. You lose the energy. The energy is just not there. The things that you used to love, right? The stuff that you would put up with, where like one of the things that I've been experiencing that I'm just like, I'm over trying to be like socially acceptable in these ways, are like my food sensitivities or my sensory sensitivities that are related to food, like blueberries. I'm finally owning and admitting I hate blueberries. I hate them. They're mushy. They're usually gross. The ability to find a good blueberry is slim to none. And you have to delve through thousands of them to finally get a good one. And they have no flavor.
Wow.
Right? So my burnout is I'm tired of like, be like, oh yeah, blueberries, that's fine. And now I'm like, no, if that's a blueberry, I don't want it. Like, thanks, but no thanks. No, it's not.
Oh, I'm so happy that you are allowing yourself to not eat freaking blueberries. Oh, that's a great story.
So, and there's other foods that are like that. Like, I forgot to turn off the food drop. My cat bowl. I fed them so that I wouldn't have to hear that. Then I forgot to turn off the feeder.
It probably won't even pick it up. This software is magic. What is your cat's name too? I was wondering.
I have two. So the black one that comes to visit on when I'm at the computer is Supernova. Call him Nova or Bear. And then I have an orange tabby who he never jumps up. And he's Ziggy the Ziggernaut, goes by Ziggy,
so
Zig.
Cute.
Chickpea or Bean Bean.
So fun.
Yes. Yeah, two cats.
So fun. Well, I loved that sidetrack. Yeah, when we started, before we hit record, I'm like, are you nervous? You're like, no, it's just a conversation, right? And that's exactly what I wanted, and that's what we got. I love that. Was so helpful, and I'm so I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
That you have that, and I want to keep in touch and like hear how
it's
helping. I hope it really does. give you more blueberry moments.
Yes. Yeah. It's like you're over blueberries. The perimenopause ADHD. I'm like, I'm done.
I'm done with the blueberries, y'all. I don't know that people offer me blueberries that much. So, like, it must be real common in California.
Girl, the fruit and vegetable game out here is amazing. It's one of the high benefits of living in California is like, you want an avocado? Like your next door neighbor has an avocado tree. Just go get some of theirs. You want an orange? There's a tree down the road that the people aren't picking them off. Like, go take some. Like, it's fine.
Oh, it's true. I thought that was just what they say on TV, but you're saying it's true. Oh my goodness.
It's true. That's one of the things.
Okay, so let's learn about early Kristin.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Your early understanding of work. What's your first glimmerings of, oh, people have jobs or not, or?
Well, I definitely think I was thinking about this morning, and in school, like in the kindergarten, first grade, second grade, that's one of the curriculum topics that's in Common Core is professions. And so I remember as a kid, like a 6, 7, 8-year-old, somewhere in there, of learning about firefighters and police officers and nurses, right? And like even developmentally, there's this point where and I think that's why it's on the curriculum when it is we're thinking about community. We have moved from introspective self, right? Think your three-nagers, into there's other people in the world, there's other things in the world, there's things to do in the world. And I remember at the time, I remember having this thought as I was walking into my pediatrician, like, this is where I picture it happening. My pediatrician's building, because it was brick and there were stairs to go up to the office. And I remember thinking, I want to be a race car driver.
Oh my gosh.
Well, actually, I also want to be a teacher. You know what? I really want to be a lawyer.
Oh.
And like, those were the three professions that I had as a kid. That in my mind, that's what I wanted to be. That if I got to those, then I have made it. And as I was thinking about it this morning, I was like, okay, so the race car driver's got to be like, that's the fun job. That's where you just go and you just absolutely love what you do. Because who wouldn't love race car driving? The teacher, that's your service. That's giving back to the community, right? Helping people, teacher. And then lawyer, like, that's making money.
Yeah.
I was like, I had it all. I wanted to be fun. I wanted to serve, but I wanted the moolah coming in. I was like, I was a bright little girl.
I know. That's amazing. Right? And you've just like debunked more things for me, because one of my like theses of this show is I don't think we talk to kids about work enough, and that's pretty much going to be life. And it's real good if you can figure out what you like to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But first, second, third grade, you're saying it's in the curriculum.
But this is where I think we fail our kiddos as a nation, particularly in the public school system, is that we don't pick that conversation back up. Until I remember in 11th grade, we had to take the ASVAB, which is like the military's version of like, what would you be good at? And then this is what we're going to tell you should do. And like, I remember being so ticked off about my results in the ASVAB that I thought, you are way off base. Like, you're so wrong. I can't even tell you how wrong you are. Like, in my mind, I was going to become a world traveling linguist, global and international business person. Like, that's where I was thinking. And the ASVAB came back with like, you should go into technology, computer programming, etc. And I was like, what? Well, then as I became an adult, had my first like big girl job, I realized, you know what? Maybe they were right. Because I remember taking this Access course. It's part of the Microsoft Word Office Suite. Not Word, but Microsoft Office Suite. Where it's database. Yeah. And there's like a programming backside piece to that. And I remember in the training, I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I just absolutely love this. And I was programming like a beast. And I remember the trainer coming over. He's like, oh, wow, you picked that up really fast. I was like, I know. And that's the moment I was like, huh. And who did the faculty, because I was a secretary, who did the faculty go to when there was an IT problem? They didn't call the help desks. They came and got me. So I was like troubleshooting those kinds of things. I'm like, okay, so ASVAB wasn't totally wrong. But I think the thing about programming, computer programming, is it's just another language. What I didn't know as an enrollment trader is that there's a really strong correlation between linguistics, language, and computer programming. So,
that's so cool.
Right? Fascinating.
Excellent revelation.
Oh.
See, that I need those kinds of revelations in my life with like, why am I good at this when I hate it? Maybe there's connection that I can't figure out. But
maybe there's a correlation there. You're just not seeing.
There's a correlation. Yeah, this is why I need therapy. I really think I need a therapist specifically for my work questions and thoughts and troubles. But when did it switch from race car driver, teacher, lawyer to all-powerful business traveling woman?
Probably like 11th, 12th grade.
Oh, okay.
My dad I'm going to say is, because that man will never stop being an accountant, is an accountant. He worked for Anheuser-Busch, right? And so I remember when I don't remember how old I was, maybe around 10, he had to go to London for a business trip. And he came back and had like all kinds of wild stories. And I just remember thinking, man, that's so cool. My dad literally flew over the ocean to another country because he had to for work. Like, how neat is that? I took Spanish. I started taking Spanish when I was in 8th grade and all the way up through high school. And I loved learning languages. I wanted to learn Japanese. My dad talked me out of it. That's a whole other story. And so it's like I was very intrigued by nations and cultures and languages. And I wanted to do something related to that. My dad, being dad and an accountant and wanting to ensure that I was going to do something that was going to take care of me, right? Pay the bills and that I could be independent, was like, you should go into business. Like, you should go into business. Like, I don't know. So I was hesitant on it, but if it was international business, like that sounded interesting to me. And so that's kind of where I started off thinking about these things, but then I ended up going to Truman, which does not have an international business side of things, but it does have business. So I started out as a business administration major, double major with Spanish because I wasn't going to let the Spanish go.
Okay.
With the intent of eventually going international business. But the first semester of microeconomics class, we had a test within the first 2 weeks. I got a 42%. Never have I ever. I mean, I'm a high achieving high school student. And now I'm getting a 42% in a class. I was like, no, business got to go. So I left the classroom with that 42% on the test. And I just wasn't getting the concepts. And I went to the office. I changed my major. I dropped business. I was like, absolutely not.
That was first week of school, first semester of school?
That was the first semester of school.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you just dropped it. So now you're just Spanish major?
I was just Spanish major. And then that semester, as I finished the semester, I was taking an exploring religions class, which I found fascinating. I was like, oh, I'll be a philosophy religion Spanish double major. Of course, that makes sense.
Why does everyone want to double? Is it important?
I don't know. Well, I was doubling because I didn't know what else. Like, get a Spanish degree, but what are you going to do with that?
Right. So you're trying to.
Of course, but what are you going to do with a Spanish philosophy religion double major? You know what I've learned after graduating with my bachelor's, working as a secretary on campus, is that employers don't care what degree you have, just so long as you went to school, because ultimately college just teaches you how to research things, how to learn, and how to do it on your own. That's what it's for.
So if that's true, should a 50-year-old who has like 30 years of experience working doesn't really need to consider a degree?
Like I knew who this was referring to, certainly. Honestly, I think it just kind of depends on what your passion is. Yeah. At 50, you do what you want to do. So
I would like to think
if there was a degree that is like got your attention, you think, man, this would be really cool to go do it. Absolutely. Because there's some degrees that you need the degree to be able to work in the field. Okay, so case in point, I can't be a speech therapist without a master's in communication disorders or speech pathology.
Okay.
So that was needed. But if you love learning, then shoot, go take some courses. You may not have to get a degree. There is such a thing as called as auditing. You go in, you take the course. You don't have to get the grades, so there's no pressure, but you get to take in the information that you want.
Oh, good point. Good point. Good point. I was going to ask you. Actually, let's go to this one.
Yeah.
What would you say is your longest running daydream?
Longest running daydream?
Yeah. Do you have one like, oh, I wish someday, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I would probably say between my sophomore and junior years, between sophomore and junior years, I did a study abroad program to Costa Rica, and I was there for 2.5 months with a group of students, and it was phenomenal. And I just fell in love with the country. The whole country is just freaking beautiful. The people there are just the most like cuteness aggression every day because the ticos are so lovely. And like there's just so much to do and see. Like there's rainforest, there's active volcanoes, there's craters you can see. We went swimming in the pool of a waterfall. That took me a second because it was only in Spanish. I had to translate it. A waterfall called Fortuna up in the north. And there's got incredible beaches. Like it's just glorious. And the whole Costa Rican vibe is like chill.
Oh my gosh.
All good. They have the saying Pura Vida, which literally means pure life. And they use it for all things. Like it is what it is. This is awesome. It's way to go. Like Pura Vida. It's Pura Vida everything. So the
Pura Vida?
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I think the long-standing daydream would be to move to Costa Rica for however long I had the privilege of being able to be there.
That's a beautiful daydream. It's crazy, Kristin, because one of the questions I was going to ask you near the end is, do you have a Costa Rica? And that question is based on Charity's experience. She and her husband took their kids to language school in Costa Rica for several weeks.
Yeah.
We're able to go on sabbaticals with their jobs and things like that. And I always think of that as this thing everyone sort of wants to do, but don't do it. And I call it a Costa Rica. Like, do you have a Costa Rica? And you have the actual Costa Rica. That's so cool.
Costa Rica. That's awesome. What I do love, I also love in 2019, like I'm a bilingual practitioner out here in California, which is super handy, right? So my dad told me years after I finished my bachelor's degree, he, God bless him, paid for all of that. But he paid for a degree. I know. He paid for a degree that I found out later he wasn't on board with. I ended up graduating with just a bachelor's in Spanish. And he was concerned, like, what are you going to do with that? Like, how is that going to help you? Right. And then I went on to work in a private school, getting next to no money and like hovering around poverty line, to working at the university and not making a ton. Like, so my dad's like, what did we do that for? Well, unbeknownst to us, the Lord had a plan, right? And I was coming out to California, and so that gives me an edge as far as being able to, because the hugest minority we have are Spanish-speaking people. So being a bilingual practitioner, right? So I get to use my Spanish. So, haha, Dad.
In your face, man that I really love who paid for my education.
Which I have said that to his face. So like if he were to somehow hear this, like he'd laugh with me. But yeah, so around 2019, I was just like, I was really kind of feeling stuck with my Spanish. Like I needed to polish it. I needed to work on
2015?
2019.
Oh, 19. Okay.
19. And so I decided that I was going to, originally my original plan was to go to a Guatemala language school and work on and study my Spanish again and solidify it. And my boss, when I told her this idea, like, this is what I'm thinking I'm going to do because I'm really going to work on the Spanish, she's like, well, why don't you go to Oaxaca, Mexico? And I'm like, why Oaxaca? Well, turns out they have a language school there that she knew about, but she has a very good friend. She's like, well, you could stay with her and then just go to this school and it'll be way cheaper than going to Guatemala. And I'm like, say less. So Oaxaca, I went and I love it. So, as much as I do want to go back to Costa Rica, and that's definitely top of the list. Oaxaca's up there too, because they also are beautiful people. The food is incredible.
Really?
So good. Yeah, they're known for 7 moles. Didn't even know I didn't even know what mole. I mean, I knew mole, but I didn't know it was a thing. But in Oaxaca, it's very much a thing. Yeah, and just again,
how long were you there?
Just over a week. That one was a little
just
longer.
over a week.
Yeah.
And that was when you were living in California or still in KV?
I was in California.
Okay, California. The reason I jumped at 2015 is because I think that it was 2015. Did you still work at Truman in 2015?
No, in 2015, I had moved out here. I moved out in August 2014.
So it couldn't have been 2015. I remember driving by you one day by campus. So you were walking to school or to work, but you weren't walking. You were dancing.
Dancing.
You were totally dancing. It was like it was kind of your version of exercise, and also like, I am going to live this day. And my spirits soared.
Yes. So that was totally my dance walk era. There was a guy on social media, Aaron, and I can't remember his last name. He's married to Ginger, who is the weather gal for GMA.
Okay, yeah.
But he had the same, like, he was doing dance walking. He saw somebody in New York City, like, bebopping their way down the sidewalk. And he was like, yes. And so he started doing it and posting videos. And I'm like, I am on board. So I started dance walking quite a bit. That was not the only time that it happened.
Yeah.
And I got people waving at me, honking at me. And I was just like, let's live up this joy.
I know. It's so special when we find ways to just make the absolute most of living. So absolutely. I love that. Okay, let's go there. So you moved to California. You're not yet what you are today. When you moved to California and went to, I was going to say Weehawken, which I think is from some cowboy movie or something. Where did you go?
Fresno. So
the school.
The school. Oh, the Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Okay. Weehawken.
Yeah. So in 2019.
Oh, it's from Hamilton. Where Hamilton died.
Yes. Hey, you got to push it in there. So in 2019, I had been working as a speech language pathologist for 4 years at that point.
Oh, okay. So get me from we should really try to do something with this degree, Kristin, to moving to California and going, oh, how about speech pathology?
So how about speech pathology happened in the end of 2010, beginning of 2011. I, at that point, had been working as a secretary for the university for around 5-ish years. And I was getting kind of restless. It's like I'm not supposed to be a secretary for the rest of my life. I know that is not the end all. That's not the end, And the thing was that I was very dedicated in staying with and being a part of the church that was in Kirksville at that time. And so to me, like, the next step, I have a bachelor's degree. Next step would be a master's degree. The ones that I wanted to do, the Lord kept saying, no. Like, oh, okay. How about this one? No. Okay. Right. And so then, in 2008, I came out to Fresno to visit the church that's here, fell in love with them. And I knew before I even left the city after, it was only a 5-day visit, that I was supposed to move out here.
Wow.
And I got back to Kirksville and the Lord was like, yeah, not yet. But it came in the form of no. And I thought, what?
Your Lord is such a no guy.
I know. At hindsight's 2020, he's got a really good bird's eye view of things. And so when we get to the end of this, you're going to be like, oh, that's why all the no's. So it was no in 2008. 2010, I'm still secretary. I'm getting restless, but I can't leave yet. I'm like, all right. So I take this car ride the end of 2010. I'm going down to my brother's house. My parents have sold our childhood home so that they could move closer to my brother and his family. And I'm going down to help my parents move into their new house, right? And in my mind, I'm like, all right, Lord, we are going to do this thing. Like, we're going to hash this out. Hour and a half ride in the car. I'm like, we're going to do it. So I'm just talking. Whole ride, talking. I'm like, here's what it is. Here's what I'm frustrated with. This is what I see is happening. This is what I see we can do. I don't know what to do. You're not saying anything. What are we going to do? And after like an hour of just blah, 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 I had nothing else to say, which is impressive for me. Kristin is speechless very few times in her life. And this was one of them. I was like, I have literally nothing else to say. And this was about Hannibal, right? So I'm heading south now. I'm 61. I'm like, all right, God, the next thing that has to happen is I have to hear your voice. You have to speak. What's the next piece? So I turned off the music. I refused to let myself sing. I wouldn't let myself pray. I was just like, we're going to be quiet. The Lord says in the Psalms, be still and know that I am God. And like, this is where we're at. So all that's left is for you to say something, right? It was the longest 15 minutes of silence of my life. But thank God he had mercy. It was only 15 minutes. And I very clearly felt in my spirit and heard communication disorders.
Whoa. That's a very specific phrase for the Lord to say.
Right? And I'm like, okay, well, that for sure had to be you, because I wouldn't have come up with that. And in that moment, in that car, after hearing those words, the only thing that I knew about communication disorders was that Truman State University had a department, and that department had a master's program. Which
oh my gosh.
I was like, okay. My next question was, but Lord, what is it? And I had no idea. So I get to my brother's house, we have dinner, we hang out, everybody goes to bed. I pull out my cute little pink netbook that I had, and I'm like Googling and trying to figure, I'm reading the department's website. I'm like, and at the end of that 30 minutes, I still knew absolutely nothing about the degree. I did not understand. But as a secretary, I had access to things that told me that there was an introduction to speech pathology class that they were offering in the spring, which was weeks away. I was like, okay, Lord, I have enough faith to take this intro course and then kind of take that semester to figure out what are we doing with this. And the doors just like boom, 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 opened up crazy fast to be able to get into the class. Like within less than a work day, I was enrolled in the class. And all the circumstances around that were kind of crazy. So the fact that I got in as quickly as I did, I was like, okay. And I had a great boss he was very flexible. Like I could take my lunch to go take the class because we had student employees to cover it. So took the class. And then realized, holy cow, this is a chicken and egg thing. Was this field made for me or was I made for the field? Because we go together really well.
Oh my gosh.
I just absolutely fell in love with it. I'm like, this takes serving people, right? The teacher. It takes language and linguistics, which was a deep love that has always been there. It takes I love working with kids and adults covered. Has all of these different things, and it's fun. Like you look at a speech therapy session, you're like, they're just playing. No, we're not, but also very much yes. So like the little kid in me gets to play games. So there's our race car driver.
Oh my gosh.
Particularly out here in California, we are well cared for. We've got a salary that's popping. Because they're so desperate. There's like when there's a state where their city is the population of another state, and that's just one large city, like there's a lot of people here. So we need a lot of SLPs.
I love that you said the salary is popping because I kind of intentionally did not talk a ton about money on this show. I don't usually ask people about salary and money because it's more about meaning, I guess.
Yeah.
But I want to know, and I want people to know because I really do want this to be an interesting show for kids who are, or anyone kind of just wanting to know what different kinds of jobs are out there and stuff. And I think it's important to know if you can make a living on something. So I appreciate that.
And with the cost of living, you definitely need a good salary out here.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, right? So imagine in 2008 when I was a secretary, if I had moved out here and got a secretarial job, like I wouldn't have been able to cut it. I would have been moving back to Missouri within like a year at most.
Oh my gosh.
But it wasn't until 2010 into 2011 that this whole speech pathology opened up. And then it took me another like 3.5 years to complete the degree because I had to do all the undergraduate coursework. I had a different master's or a different bachelor's degree, which was fine. I did that.
What's the bachelor's degree you need for that?
Speech pathology. It's the same one. So it's bachelor's in speech pathology, communication disorders, communicative sciences, whatever the university calls it. That is for this. And then you have to do the 2-year master's, which I did my master's accelerated. I did it in a year and a half. I cut out a semester because I'm like, I'm living on loans right now. Like, we need to do this as fast as possible. But yeah, so I ended up doing the undergraduate coursework part-time while I continued working full-time for the university and did that. And then a year and a half with the master's. And I moved out just before my last semester with the master's and did my internships out here in California. So that's when I moved out. So I started working in 2015 as a speech pathologist.
Okay. So in general, my feeling about a master's degree is that a general master's degree does not necessarily get you the salary boost you want. But in this case, it's more like going to professional school. Like, you had to have it for your job, and it's a job that makes the master's worth it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. As the history of the degree has occurred, at some point they decided that the master's was going to be the terminal degree. So that's the one that you have to get to be able to go out and practice. Okay. Now, I will throw in there, because this is happening a lot right now, is that because master's degrees are expensive, because life is living expensive right now, there are a lot of students who are choosing not to pursue the master's. At least if they decide never to do it, that's fine. But they're not doing it right now. And so that's possible because there are also speech language pathology assistant certification programs where all that's required is actually an associate's degree. You can go get an associate's degree and then get the certification to be a SLPA, or you can do a bachelor's degree and get the certification to be a SLPA. So either one of those. And that essentially means that you will then come and work and I will be your supervisor. You will provide treatment, take care of paperwork and whatnot. And I can have several of you working for me. And that
money not nearly as poppin'.
It's not as good.
Yep.
No, but it is sufficient. Okay. Because there's people making it work and they're choosing to be SLPAs. And it's also, I mean, as far as employers go, it's cheaper to employ 2 or 3 SLPAs than you should pay an SLP. But you do have to have an SLP to be able to supervise, because otherwise the SLPAs can't work.
It's like doctors and nurse practitioners.
And physician's assistants. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like that.
So let's go back. I want to go back to Kristin in the car. I love that story. That is my church as well. The car.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Maren Morris things. And, but I don't think I'm quiet enough, Kristin. So that's a great part of that story.
And it was really horrible 15 minutes because I would be like, I would start to pray and it's like, no, we're going to listen. I'd start to sing, no, we're going to listen.
There's a sign. You're reminding me of this sign that I drive by. I don't know if it's still up. I drive by when I go to Columbia to see my grandbaby, which there's a grandbaby for me in Columbia now. But in Moberly, there was a sign that just says, ask God again. And I love that. I mean, it's just the heading of my journal pretty much every day. Let's try again.
So true.
Try again. But maybe I'm not listening enough. I think that's such a great story. But here's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So God, the voice has just spoken, communication disorders.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what that is. So Kristin, today, go sit in that passenger seat and tell her what it is.
Oh, man. Okay. So speech pathology is a lot of things. It's a breadth and a depth in some. We basically can treat articulation disorders. So if a child is having a hard time saying their R's or L's, we're going to help them. We can treat speech and language disorders. So if a child is stuttering, we can give them strategies to be able to take control and have less anxiety around stuttering. Language, if we have a child has difficulty understanding new concepts or expressing concepts for a variety of different reasons, we can help them with that. We can cover swallowing. So infant to death, if somebody has difficulty swallowing, we're going to get in there, figure out where in the process of swallowing this breakdown is occurring. We're going to give them strategies to make it safe. We're going to give them nutrition recommendations as far as, do we need to thicken these liquids so it goes back slowly? Do we need to use these types of textures for eating to be able to avoid difficulties?
Wow.
We can work in the area of cognition. So let's say you got into a car accident and had a traumatic brain injury, and now you're having difficulty remembering the names of words or of being able to control your impulses because you got prefrontal cortex damage. We can help with that. Let's say you are an elderly patient and you are experiencing symptoms from Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, we can help with that. We can work in early intervention. So if you're birth to 3 and maybe you're having some type of global delay or speech and language delay, we're going to help parents figure out how to best support their children's growth and development in those ages, because the research says that it helps them make more progress later on. So it's a lot of different things. There are a lot of different hats we can have. We can work in the schools. We can work in private practice. We can work online. We can work in the hospitals. We can work in acute rehab. Like, you don't like one thing that you're doing? Okay, that's fine. Quit that. Go find a different job. It's fine.
Oh, cool. That's a good thing to know. I love that. Joe said that about his police work, that there are so many kinds of jobs in law enforcement and in a specific police academy if it's a larger one. And he said the same thing. If you're not liking your job, you might not have to leave the whole career because there's so many other ways you can do it. And you told us I think you told us at the beginning, I know you told us before I hit record, but you do work in a school.
I do. Yes.
You have summers literally off.
Oh, this is the first time I've been working in a school. I had for so long said I wasn't ever going to do it. Never say never, because that's just not a smart idea. Because here I am doing never. I'm nevering like I never thought I would.
Oh man, that's a great title. Let's consider that for a title.
Duck.
I'm nevering. Like, how did you say that?
Never thought I would. Yeah.
Like, I never thought I would.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. I said I would never work in the schools. But because I was in a situation that I wasn't loving the job. And if we go back to this idea of the race car driver, it has to be fun. I have to enjoy it or I don't want to do it. I started looking for something else, and this job in the schools opened up closer to home because I also moved down from Fresno further south. And I was like, you know what the hey? At this point, I thought I was going to be in private practice for my entire life. I haven't been, so let's go give this a shot. And the week off at Thanksgiving is lovely. The 3 weeks for winter break was phenomenal, particularly because I ended up with a strep throat infection, a flu infection, a really bad cold. Like I did all the things during Christmas break except for have fun. And then spring break, my parents flew out and we did a week on the coast. Like, what? And then, I had 2 months off during the summer. And it's the first time when I started calculating, it's the last time I did that was in high school. So since high school, my first summer off, and I came home to Missouri for 2 weeks. I have sat on my butt and did absolutely nothing some days. I have rested like my body has longed to rest. And after being a year on perimenopause, like I needed this in so many ways, which has made coming back to work this week
a little hard.
But it's been good. I get to see the kiddos next week, so I'm excited.
Is it all grades?
I have, because I work for the county, Kings County, they supply the SLPs for all of the school districts. I'm covering a school in Hanford, which is a little town where the county office is. And I'm splitting that with another SLP. She's brand new, and I'm discovering like my little mini me. I love this girl. She's doing the 3rd through 6th grade, and I'm doing TK through 2nd there. Then I have another school in another town about 45 minutes south, and it's a school of only 4th and 5th graders. So I have TK through 2nd and 4th and 5th graders. And I just found out yesterday I have a bring-in student. So that's a 3-year-old who's not currently enrolled in a preschool. So they get to come in and come play with me for 20 minutes a week.
Oh my gosh. what are 3 things you do every day?
3 things I do every day. Yeah. A lot of paperwork. So
Oh, see, I didn't know you were going to say that. Is
I'm
that a
so sorry.
bummer?
I know it can be, but because I was a secretary for 8 years. So I
True
clearly
that.
like data entry and organizing and it's like the logical problem solving side of things. I don't mind it as much. And one piece of the paperwork, one aspect of that is billing. So we bill Medi-Cal for the services that we provide as speech therapists. We are probably one of the biggest intake or like bringing in of money for the school districts. You're welcome, school districts, but we have to bill for that. So we have to put in the information, and that can be annoying, but it's data entry, so I enjoy it. And then 2, it's like I'm getting to be reminded of the progress that my students are making. And so like I'm typing and I'm like, oh yeah, you did get 80%. Like, go you little guy. So it's really fun to kind of have that pause to remember, like, yeah, we just had a great session and they did so good with their S's. Like,
Okay.
we're making progress. So you get to see that. I think IEP paperwork. So if a child is receiving speech services, it's because they're on an individualized education plan that comes with a lot of clerical work that comes along with it. So not only are we SLPs, but we're basically project managers as well. And so, I'm looking to see like what's the next piece of paperwork I need to send out. What's the next piece of paperwork I need to finish? What kind of information do I need to request to be able to finish it? So doing those kinds of tasks as well. And then consulting with teachers. Like I got to consult yesterday with a little girl that the administration and the teacher are very concerned about. And I went in, and that was probably one of my highlights of the day, and sat and watched and played with this little girl for like 20 minutes. Like, okay, she's got some struggles, but the fact that her admin and her teacher are so concerned about this. It was only day 3 of school. They only started on Wednesday. So day 3 of school, and I'm in the classroom. I'm like, we're going to be okay for this girl.
Oh my gosh. That's a really cool story. So is it what's kind of the percentage paperwork versus actually playing with the kids?
Actually,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
doing
not play.
it's probably like 20% treatment and 80% paperwork.
Darn it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm a project manager, so this is the moment when I'm going to tell everyone that what you said, you wrote to me and you said, like, I'm enjoying the podcast or whatever, and I
Yeah.
have a really interesting job. And I said, are you trying to tell me a job I might like, or do you want to be on the show? And you said either one, but it is interesting because, yeah, I'm a project manager now. So the paperwork part certainly doesn't sound,
It's not scary.
it doesn't make me cry to think of it, but it does surprise me.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it when you're describing your job. And what I love is it wasn't the first thing you said, because what your job is to you is that other stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what
That's what
it's
brings
really
me joy.
interesting. Do you get the Sunday night blues?
No.
Oh,
No.
never.
I very rarely.
Even going back after summer break?
I was ready to go back. I was
Wow.
ready to go back because I love what I do. Like when I said that, was it the chicken or the egg? Like I really am made for this career. Like it fills my cup in ways that nothing else can. So if there's ever a day where the Lord says, no, we're done with it, I will be very, very sad. And we'll move on and find something else that will fill the cup. But to be able to positively influence the kids, the families, the parents, and in this setting, that even the teachers, in a way where it's like I'm able to shine the light of Jesus. I'm able to love on these kids. So like I had a child last year, and she broke my heart. Like I'm still praying for this child. Her home life is a hot mess, like hot mess, and I wanted her to know at the end of the school year that she was loved, even if her family struggled to do that. And so to be able to do that with my job, like on Sunday comes around, I'm like, great, I had 2 days of rest. Let's go back and do it. And then 2, there's this aspect, like when I didn't mention this, though I thought about it before we started recording, was that when I was a teenager, I watched both my parents hate their jobs. They hated it. They hated the toxic work environment. They hated, the back scratching and, backbiting and all of that, the bureaucratic stuff that can happen with people who are trying to climb a corporate ladder. Poor managers, like I watched all of it. And I remember thinking in my teenage years, like, I will never work a job that I don't absolutely love going to in the morning, that I'm not excited about going to. Like, I'm not going to work it. And that happened. I worked in a private practice for 9 years. She closed her doors so that she could retire. And I ended up going to a place which, for me, it was a toxic environment. And the sign to me was the day that I had a panic attack on the way to work. I thought, okay, no, we are done. And that was only 6 months in. 6 months in, and I was not able to thrive in that place. That place, I had Sunday blues. Like, I do not want to go to work this week. This is going to be awful. And so I went to a different job, and I got that back of like, I love what I do. I'm ready to go back and do it. So those two things combined, like I refuse to work in a place that I don't want to go work there, and I love what I do. So
this is where Serenity just pauses to think and journal. First of all, I find it really interesting that you have this moment where you told yourself, I will not do that. I have a moment like that in my life, and I have accomplished what it was, but I'm wishing it had been what you said. Wishing we'd had the same, because what it was for me is my mom was talking to someone at the door, and they were having the typical, how are you? And both of them were, just so busy. And I said, as a little girl, I'm like, that's not going to be me. I am not going to be too busy. I'm just going to enjoy. And I'm there. I really don't have that problem. I would never tell someone when they ask me, how are you, busy? That would never be my answer. Yeah. So I've accomplished that. But God, I wish I had said, I will not work. I will not love my job.
Yeah.
I love that you love your job.
That you share that, because I listen to yours and I think, dang, that's what I should have gone for. Busy. Like, that's my next goal. I'm going to work on that.
Oh my gosh. Can we make new promises to ourselves? I guess right now we'll trade promises. And I have to do a retraction too, which I was gonna do in the intro. It's not really a retraction, but in my last episode, I did an intro because I was kind of doing a temperature check of the show and how it's, if it is what I wanted it to be and things like that. And I give these general statements about work, and as if it's all of us. And I said, we leave everything we love to go to our jobs. And Felicity pushed back a little.
Oh, good.
Later, she told me, she said, but we love lots of things. And so for you and for her, some of the things you love, you go to work for.
Yeah.
You get them at work. And I that's so inspiring. And it's a good goal. That reminds me of this other thing I'll say in the intro, but I'm having to remind myself of this quote that Simone Stolzoff said. He heard it from a poet, but he said, some people do what they love for a living. Some people do what they have to do for work so that they can do what they love outside of work. And neither is more noble. And I'm having to remind myself of that right now.
Absolutely.
I really still like the idea of wanting to do what you do on Mondays. It's inspiring. And you've described it so well, and how to get there. Those are questions I have, and what it's like and what it's really like with the paperwork and things like that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you wish about work?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I think the only thing that at this point that I would wish is more specifically to do with my employer and how they kind of handle things. They're very like, I have a boss and she's lovely, but she works in a building that I never go into during the week.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I get an email from her. Sometimes not lucky, depending on the topic of the email. But like, there's no oversight. And I as an employee, I don't love that. I want someone checking in and making sure that A, I feel like I know what I'm doing. B, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so Like the fact that I have to approach my job right now is unless I hear something, then it must be good. And that assumption makes me uncomfortable. Like it's a very dicey place to sit. And I'm finding because of therapy, because of the ADHD diagnosis, that a lot of that has to do with those things of like, I want oversight, I want accountability, I want routines, I want to know I'm doing well, but this job doesn't have those. And so I am now with my therapist learning to create systems that do that for me, even though nobody else is doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks.
Is your boss an SLP?
No, I think she's a special educator.
Okay. I kind of figured it might be an administrative role. And that's one reason it's not so hands-on for you. That's interesting. And I wonder, I'd be really interested to hear that same thought from other people. Like, I think I've heard the opposite from some people that they don't really want a lot of check-ins. They kind of want to, but my last episode, Valerie,
either, but
you don't want that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
but
want
check-ins would be nice. Knowing you're doing.
Like, is there anything you need?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I need to know these things because I've run into them. Like I have to go hunt that information down. And it's not always from the exact same person. Like sometimes I go to my boss and she's like, oh, ask this person. Okay. I go that person and that like it bounced around. So it's like, it's very, it's not tangible. There's no clear, if you have this problem, this is the person you go to. So I don't love that. But I also don't want someone to be like, you need to do this and you need to do that and you didn't do this right. Like that's not helpful either.
Before you were in a school, were you in a private practice or were you trying to get to that level?
Just before like the job that I left to come work in the schools, I was working in early intervention. Okay. And I loved the employer. I didn't love being in the car all week long.
Oh, okay.
Because in early intervention, you go to the family's homes and you see them. And also in that role as an SLP in early intervention, I'm not treating, I'm not doing direct treatment, I'm not doing direct assessment. And I really missed those pieces.
Okay.
It was all collaboration and coaching. So it was just another service delivery model somewhere else that an SLP can work. So I literally went from that job to the next job the next day. So like I said, busy. I like to be busy for some reason. And so
people, you didn't promise yourself as a child that you wouldn't.
I know. It's like, okay, well, we need to start adding that in there. So I had a lot of people ask me like, why didn't you take a week off? Because it didn't occur to me that I could.
Okay. So your story is, you didn't always know what you wanted to be. You just kind of kept following the path. You wanted Spanish. You did not want business. You wanted this. And then even in your job as an SLP, you're tweaking as you go. Oh, I didn't love being in the car though. And so you tweaked that. Do you have advice for how to go into adulthood and be in adulthood and remain open-minded about work and career and shifting when you need to?
Oh yeah. I mean, pretty much every young person I get my hands on, they're in the teenagers and they're thinking about like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm not asking 10-year-olds, what do you want to be? But then I'm also following up like, okay, go into that. But if you've realized that you don't like that or it's not working for you, if it's detrimental to your health, get out and go do something else. And I have met so many different people who were in one career field, one career area on one particular path. And it started, their health was deteriorating because it was so bad for them that they just decided to pivot. And that pivot is going to be scary. You're going to have so many unknowns and things. You're just like, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how this is going to go. And that's totally normal. But you're going to be able to figure it out. And so pick another frying pan to launch for and go for it. If you don't like it, there's another one closer to that one. You can try that one instead. Life is about being flexible, regardless of what path you're in, whether you're happy where you're at. Like life throws you punches you never intended, right? Cancer, hello. Right? Hormonal changes as you age. Hello, wasn't expecting that. And so flexibility is the name of the game, and the name of the game is flexibility. If you can be flexible and not rigid in your thinking, you can do whatever you want.
Ah, beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Sure.
That was so inspiring. Let's get just a little bit more. I like to call this segment, maybe it's me. So, what could you talk about for long periods or over and over? Like if you had a podcast, what would it be about?
Oh, that's a good question. Why? Honestly, I'm the kind of person that, and I've said this multiple times, like you give me a topic, I'll talk to you about it for an hour.
Wow.
I don't care if I'm an expert or not. So like I don't know. I think
so maybe whatever the other person's talking about.
Exactly. Conversation, like I can talk to anybody for any length of time, and we can start on one conversation and end on the 30th. That's fine. But yeah, I like communication. I like
Are you energized from that instead of depleted?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm definitely the extrovert on the extrovert introvert continuum. Okay. For absolutely sure. But I think people in general are just fascinating. So just being able to talk with someone and get new ideas, new perspectives, new experiences, things that I haven't experienced, and getting to listen to someone else's is like, this is great. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Right? Because no two people are the same. And so being able to kind of parse apart and figure out, well, how are we different? That's really cool. I definitely don't think that way. Right. But how are we the same? Even in the differences, we can be the same. So
that's the delight. I pretty much ask everyone the same questions on this show, but it's a whole different episode every time because people are so different. And I love that so much. Is there something you wish you could fix?
In like any area? Okay.
Yes. And it is funny how many people, that's what they ask me. You mean anything? It's like Phoebe when she's told she can change her name and she's like, it can be anything? Oh, this could take a while.
Yes. What would I fix? Honestly, one of the things that's kind of irritating me right now, and it's prevalent because I have a lot of friends that are moms of little children. There's this tension, and then I have a mom who's a stay-at-home mom who used to be a teacher who's teaching her 7, 5, and 3-year-old, right? Homeschooling. And then I have a best friend who is a vice principal in a middle school. So it's like I have people on both sides of the fence, but I feel like there's this disconnect or division, I think is a better word, between public school education and homeschool education and whose job is it. And particularly in California, there's this really strong friction between the two. There's parents who don't want the public school education for a variety of different reasons. And it's really hard for them to be able to say that I'm going to educate my child at home. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. And then in the public schools too, there's this like friction and division between schools and parents and how they're working. If I were to fix anything at this point, it would be opening more fluid conversations between public school education and parents, honestly.
Very good. Yeah, that's a great one. Where do you feel cohesion? Cohesion I've heard described as who you are, what you believe, and what you're doing are all aligned. What's a moment in life that you feel total cohesion?
When I'm giving hugs and when I'm doing treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so great that you found it at work. It's so special to hear that. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 more questions.
Yes.
So let's do this one. Is there anything you wish I had asked you?
Oh, what? I don't know if you're going to like this answer, but no, because I'm terrible at generating questions. And I know it until you tell me I don't know something, and then I'll be able to ask the questions. But no.
So apparently that question was just me fishing for a podcast host compliment. I did it. I didn't miss anything you wanted to talk about. That makes me happy. Okay, so the last section, I don't remember how well I prepped you for this. It worked
Okay.
for me. It
All
worked
right.
for me. Do you ring a bell? I want
I
to you
think you put it in the little email you
Okay.
sent me. I
So
don't
it's
remember anything about
just it's an aha moment in your life, or it's something you regularly do to center you or to bring you back to what matters in life, help you find meaning in life.
it. Oh man. My aha clarity moments happen by water. I gotta get if I'm having a existential crisis or a struggle in some area, I want to go out and be by water and get a hold of God in that moment. So,
Oh.
my favorite place in California to visit is a place called Morro Bay. It's known for this very big rock. They have great sand, beaches that are close by. I love climbing out on the jetty. So I've also heard it called a brash recently. I'm like, new word, love it. Which is basically just broken rock to be able to create a safety structure for people to come into the bay. But it ties right up to the big rock, and you can go out and you can go climb on it. So the Friday before I started work, like my short work week, I went out for one last hurrah and climbed out and sat on the jetty for like an hour and a half, just soaking in the sun, soaking in the waves coming in, the vast expansiveness of creation, and that the God who made all of these beautiful things is concerned about how I'm doing today. Um, but it could be the ocean, it could be a river, it could be the lake. We've got some great lakes up in the mountains I love to go visit and just sit on the edge and breathe.
Get by water.
Yep.
Good. Good. It worked for me. I love that one. It's so true for me too, actually. It's hard to do, but it around here. I'm
Right?
landlocked to Missouri, but we got the lakes. We got lakes. So
Lakes, you got creeks.
yeah, I
A
love
river.
that. Well, Kristin, I can't tell you how much I loved this. I loved it so much. You were so right. You have a very interesting job, and your story to get there is beautiful. And I am so happy for you. I'm so happy for the people you're treating because they get you. Are you allowed to hug? The people you're
If they ask, if they initiate, but yes.
Okay. Okay.
I get a lot of hugs.
It's been an absolute delight. Thank you
Thank
for being on my
you.
show.
My pleasure. Thanks for giving me a chance to come and just talk about all the things I love and I'm exploring and learning.
Exactly. It's just the beginning of some things.
Yeah. We're
Which
really
is
literally at the beginning of some stuff.
yeah.
It'll be good.
Well, congratulations on that too. And I hope
Yes,
it
thank you.
continues to help.
Oh, I hope so. Can
I know
only
it
get
will.
better.
I know it will. You've set the precedent that you know how to find your way. So you're going to do
One
it.
step at a time.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, Serenity.